The word is involved, not just you pull the trigger and it made the pew pew sound. Not just that, but you were involved in it, whether you drove the car, whether you were in the car when the action happened, involved in it. And I think that leads me to believe that some way or another, whether whoever's hands were dirty, Woody's hands were involved in it as well. Whether Woody's hands have residue on it from the pew pew, or Woody's hands was driving the steering wheel, or whatever involved. So that being the case, you can get charges thrown on you too, just for being in the car. You're not innocent because you was in the car and all I was doing is sitting there. That's not it at all. But all right, let me see, because there's some dope comments up in here. So that's why I really believe, and somebody mentions it, and I'm going to, real quick. All right, imagine how this case would look if the prosecution was only half as talented and organized as the defense. I think we'd be well, watch this. If they were half as talented and half as organized, y'all do know that Adrian Love ran for district attorney in another county 3 years ago, right? She would probably be district attorney over there if she was half as talented and half as organized. My point is this. They would probably be in different roles if they were better organized and definitely more talented. Because I just think they're outclassed, in my opinion. And that's where I'm at with that. Woody lied all of those interviews. He's not dumb. I think he did. I think he did lie. He was just lying to him. He was just finessing. All right. I have a very, very super, super unpopular opinion. Woody lied about a lot of that stuff that happened. He said in those interrogation videos. It didn't even happen. I know this is not going to be popular. I know y'all not going to like this one, but here it comes. What's the proof that Nuts' truck was broken into and that his chain, that big old gold chain, his wallet, and his cell phone were taken out of his truck? What is the proof that we have? Woody. What is the proof that somebody called the phone and Woody answered the cell phone that he just stole, by the way? He answered the stolen phone and it was Nut, and he said, "Hey, I found your phone," or somebody gave it to me, and pull up and I'll get it to you. Woody. I don't think any of that happened. I don't. If you go back and watch, just ask yourself, what's the reasonable notion that now I'm not saying anybody wouldn't, but let me just make sure I have it right. You are a street dude. You have this big gold chain with the gold diamond encrusted Mr. Peanut on it. You take that off and you leave it in the truck along with your wallet and your cell phone inside of your vehicle. I'm not saying that nobody does that. I'm just asking you, is that reasonable to believe that somebody would do that? Or that Donovan Thomas did that? I don't think so. Now, why am I saying that? Because I think a lot of that stuff that Woody said in the interrogations was trying to put himself in positions that he was never in. And trying to, again, for example, the guy on Bankhead with Money that put out a hit on his friend Threat for the shooting up of Rich Homie Quan's dad's barbershop. The only person that we know this information from is Woody. No, nobody else. There's no other corroborating evidence. No phone calls, no wanted posters, no online assassins network, nothing. Just Woody, a 23-year-old, 24-year-old man who's staying in trouble, who's been in and out of jail, revolving door, and is trying to get himself out of it. Just wondering. It's not a popular topic, but I don't think that much of that he told them was true. Comments. we now know that the police, the gang units, did no verification. We know that. That is unequivocal now. That being the case, him lying to them, we can't say that they verified it because they never did. So therefore, why would we believe, with no corroborating third-party evidence to that fact, why are we believing that he did actually break into Donovan Thomas's truck and steal his stuff and then give it back to him? Why are we believing that some guy put a hit out on Threat because of what happened with Rich Homie Quan's? Now, we do know that Rich Homie Quan's father barbershop got shot. That is a reality because the dad got hit and, of course, there's property damage. So we know that happened. We also know that Donovan Thomas is no longer on the oxygen habit. We know that. Those are realities. But those other things, those other shades and those other stories, what proof do you have? We have none. I think it's fair to say, and actually, Steele actually alludes to it when he mentioned the 911 call. 911 calls are available. Why is there not a 911 call about gunshots on the highway? You would think we're in the Wild West here in Atlanta, the way they made it sound. Because, you know, there's a 911 call when Lil Wayne's bus got shot up. Why is there no 911 for this? Just something to think about. It's not a popular topic, I know. But I think he was lying. Let's keep this going. What does Sarah say? Right, and this is my thing with Nut. In an unlocked truck, I was wondering that too. I'm sorry, and I got to bring in Monica as well. She says, if you're visiting someone incarcerated, you would take off all of your jewelry and leave those things in your car. I got you. The problem is this was outside of his house. So as far as I know, unless somebody can tell me that Nut's car was broken into in the Fulton County Jail parking lot, it was at his house or at his friend's house. Why do you have all that stuff off? And again, this is a multi-$1,000 necklace. Why would you, and your phone? I'm sorry. Maybe you have some shady friends and you want to take off your necklace to go in the house with your shady friends. I might be able to give you that. Maybe you don't want your wallet because you don't want them to Shanghai you. Okay. But most of us are going to hold on to our phones. Like no phone either. This just doesn't work. What's Donna say? Do you think Woody really shot up? No, I do believe that. I do believe that him and Threat did do that. And a couple reasons is he mentioned it in real time recently. Before, when he was talking to the investigators, he said he didn't know who did it. Remember that? But here in court, he said he did it. And so I believe that he did, in fact, do it. Because he could have just kept that lie going. But he said he did it. So I think he did actually. Him and Threat did actually shoot up Rich Homie Quan's dad's barbershop. Long name. Woody would be recognized wherever he goes. Okay, so you're talking about when I said Woody should go away. That's true. That's true. The problem is you can, if I'm away from my hometown, in my mind, I'm still thinking, and it makes sense to me, if Woody went to just a normal run-of-the-mill town, not, don't go to Chicago, don't go to LA, stay out of New York, but just go to a run-of-the-mill suburban or even country town, they might still recognize him, but there's not the element there to draw him in. Because there's got to be a recognition as well as an attraction. So here in Atlanta, they recognize him, and the streets know. In the streets. In Chicago, they might recognize him, but there's streets there too. Same thing in New York and LA and in Dallas. So go to a little small town that don't have a lot of streets. And y'all know what I mean by the streets. So, but it is what it is. I don't think he's going to do it anyway, but that's just my little 2-cent idea. All right. DWC, exactly. Woody needs a fresh start, which starts with a change of environment. I mean, just go away. Go do something crazy. Go to Colorado. I mean, they got streets in Colorado. They got the hood in Montana. They got that too, but just don't go to those places. Like go somewhere different and start somewhere different. Just a thought. What does Hightower say? Hightower said, do you think they will charge Woody after this is over? Well, I don't think so. However, The state won't charge him with anything because I don't think he's done anything. If they come up and say that, hey, he knew about threat, killing, or unaliving Donovan Thomas, and he didn't let anybody know, maybe so. But my concern, and probably Woody's concern as well, is he saying anything that's going to get him on a federal issue? Because there could be federal charges that could pop up out of the blue. I would hate that, because after all this is said and done, the man is trying to outrun his past. And again, let's say that he knew about threat, because I do believe threat did it. He knew about threat unaliving Donovan Thomas. And that was 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. And he's like, look, man, I'm trying to get my life together. Now, granted, he's doing street dude stuff now in 2024. He's doing street stuff now in 4K, but he's not committing any crimes. And he's trying to get himself together. You know what? I want him to get his life together. I want him to be there for his kids and the such like that. So I'm rooting for him not going to jail, not getting in trouble, getting a new lease on life and all that stuff. I want to see something good for the guy. 10 years, 20 years from now, you see Kenneth Copeland doing something great. Kenneth Copeland, formerly known as Woody or Little Woody. That'd be great. Imagine a book. You walk into Barnes and Noble and you see Kenneth Copeland, formerly known as Little Woody, or formerly known as Atlanta's or Georgia's, one of Georgia's top violent criminals. And he's running a company. He is a CEO of a company. Crazy, right? I'm rooting for that. I'm not rooting for him to keep running Hellcats down Peachtree Street. I'm not rooting for that. I'm not rooting for him doing street dude stuff at Magic City. I'm not rooting for that. I'm rooting for him to do something that completely blows our minds. So that's it. But I got you. So hopefully and prayerfully, there are no other charges that can pop up that can derail that, because that's what I'm rooting for. Where is it? I saw somebody. Well, there you go. Tyree said it. The Usual Suspect. If you watch the movie The Usual Suspect, you will start getting some Kenneth Copeland vibes when you go back and look at those interrogation videos. If I got it right, Kevin Spacey comes into a police station to tell them this wild story about this drug kingpin. The whole movie is him sitting there in interrogation, just spilling all the beans. And lo and behold, and the detectives and the investigators are taking notes, everything like that. He walks out. He leaves out. And he walks out, and he comes in and he has like a limp, and he's very unassuming. And lo and behold, he gives a story. And if I remember correctly, because I watched it a long time ago, he leaves from the police station. He walks down the street, and you're watching his feet, and eventually his walk changes. He was limp. He was walking with like a dragging his foot, and his foot changes. And he walks up to a car, and the guy lets him in, and his whole positioning changes. He gets back in the car, and they say, "Where are we going to, Mr. Söze?" or whatever it is. And lo and behold, he was the drug kingpin, and he had been giving them weaving this crazy story that ends up, if I'm remembering it correctly, it ends up causing the police to go basically take out all of his competition through his story, because he was so unassuming. But let me jump back to the interrogation room. One of the cops is not really, something is not right with Kevin Spacey's character to him. And he's still taking notes. But when Kevin Spacey leaves and he's going down the block, he starts looking around the room, and he realizes that Kevin Spacey was calling out stuff in the room, like the name of the clock brand, and I think the name of the cup that somebody was drinking out of. He was using all of that stuff to weave together into his story. And the police officer runs out, and his detective is running out right while the car pulls off, and he never sees him again. So the reason I call, and reason people are saying that Kenneth Copeland is Kozer Söze in this situation is because he's weaving together a story that he ultimately is a part of. he's actually the mastermind of the story. And I think it stood out to me. So.
Yo, hit that like for a deal with Christian. Yo, for a deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian. For a deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian.